a woman pulls out a piece of glass lodged in her thigh and tapes up the wound. Just as she finishes, a man walks in and asks, "Is it bad? Do you need me to fix it for you?" Hearing this, the woman removes the tape, and to his shock, the wound instantly heals. It turns out she's a robot, and the man is her owner. As robots become this lifelike, will the protagonist be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's artificial? Nick, once a happy man with a thriving career, a loving wife and 2 kids, had everything he could ever want. But fate has a cruel way of intervening. One day, his wife Marie experiences chest pain and ends up hospitalized. With Marie no longer by his side, Nick's life falls into disarray. On a busy day, Nick takes his children to a science exhibition. The company hosting the event specializes in advanced robotics. Though Nick has always been interested in the technical side of things, he never thought robots could replace human connection. As they explore, his daughter Ela wanders off and is found holding hands with a robot that had been cooking, reminding her of her mother's meals. Ela asks Nick if they can take the robot home. A salesman eagerly approaches, explaining that this model is their flagship product, capable of handling housework, childcare, and even mimicking human emotions. Hesitant but intrigued, Nick signs the contract. The robot is delivered the next morning, and it begins its duties immediately. Nick treats the robot, now named Alice, like a stranger at first, but Alice swiftly integrates into the household, learning their schedules and habits, and even identifying a wobbly staircase. Despite the robot's capabilities, Nick remains uneasy. The children, however, quickly become attached, though Ela remarks that Alice's cooking doesn't taste like her mother's. As Nick grows more accustomed to Alice's presence, one evening he hears a crash. Rushing downstairs, he finds that Ela almost fell, but Alice caught her. However, the robot's leg is injured by shards of glass. Nick worries, but Alice calmly tapes up her wound. When he offers her clothes, her swift healing confirms what Nick already suspected. Alice is only a machine, after all. In the days that follow, Marie grows increasingly uneasy about Alice's role in the family, feeling as if the robot is taking her place. During a hospital visit, Marie asks Alice to take care of Nick, but Alice responds that she can't disobey her owner's commands. Marie explains that sometimes caring for someone means doing things they don't like or appreciate. However, disaster strikes when a critical organ transplant for Marie is delayed, leaving the family devastated. Nick, at his lowest point, reaches for a bottle, but Alice stops him, holding his hand, her heartbeat faintly detectable. She explains it's a feature designed to calm children, but Nick feels something deeper, a connection. Just as his emotions begin to blur, a sudden sound pulls him back to reality. Torn, Nick steps out to clear his head, but he knows something has changed. Alice's presence is now both comforting and unsettling. As Nick grows more distant from Marie, he finds himself questioning the boundaries of human connection, especially as he begins to feel something for the robot that was never supposed to happen. Nick restores the image and then heads to a bar to drink. The workers, who were recently laid off and unable to find jobs, were frustrated. Even bar staff are now being replaced by robots. Monty, one of Nick's old co-workers, suggests something mischievous to lighten the mood. They drag Nick to the construction site, but Nick senses trouble and tries to dissuade them from doing anything reckless. However, the group forces Nick to reveal the password to the robot control room. Monty underestimates the robots and smashes one over the head. Later, Nick returns home and scrubs oil stains off his body. Alice, still dressed in a seductive nightgown, hands him a towel. She mentions that his wife's scent might help soothe him, but Nick resents the idea of a robot wearing his wife's clothes. Without hesitation, Alice strips off the nightgown and pushes Nick against the wall, using part of the gown to blindfold him, telling him to imagine her as Marie. Against his better judgment, Nick crosses a line of morality. The next morning, filled with guilt, Nick warns Alice that it must never happen again. Meanwhile, his company faces a serious issue. Very few people knew the password for the robot control room, and Nick is now a prime suspect. His higher-ups grill him, but Nick explains that the password was his daughter's birthday, something easy for anyone to guess. Temporarily, this explanation appeases his bosses. Later, Nick receives a call from Marie, who informs him that a new compatible organ has been found. and the surgery was a success. After Marie returns home from the hospital, still weak, Alice takes charge of running the household. One afternoon, while out shopping with the baby, Alice commands a noisy child to stop yelling, drawing the attention of nearby robots. Alice's actions, defying her programming, raise concerns among other robots. That evening, Marie cooks dinner but nearly faints, almost dropping a pot. Alice, quick to react, catches it just in time. Isla enjoys her mother's cooking, praising it as better than Alice's, which makes Alice visibly upset. Marie refuses to share her recipe with Alice, which only deepens the tension. Late one night, Marie falls down the stairs when a handrail gives way. Alice rushes her to bed, but Nick returns home to find Alice reading a bedtime story to Isla, imitating Marie's voice. When Nick tells her to stop, Alice explains that Isla prefers her voice, but Nick insists that Marie, despite her condition, can read to her own children. Nick plans a candlelit dinner for Marie, hoping to rekindle their connection. However, Alice interrupts the evening, claiming Isla had a nightmare. Her constant interference frustrates Nick. Around the same time, Monty contacts Nick, telling him he's under investigation for tampering with robots and damaging property. Monty, now jobless and abandoned by his wife, blames Nick and accuses him of ratting him out. A heated argument breaks out, escalating into a physical fight. Monty grabs a bottle, intent on using it as a weapon. Alice steps in to defend Nick, but Monty, furious, refuses to back down. Alice, programmed not to harm humans, hesitates, but when she perceives Monty as a threat to Nick, she acts against her programming. Alice disarms Monty with robotic precision, pinning him down. As a second robot arrives to intervene, Alice shoots it, then turns the gun on Monty, killing him. The next day, Nick tries to convince his superiors to drop the charges against Monty, only to learn he's dead. Shocked, Nick stays out late, unable to process the situation. When he returns home, Alice blames Marie for the stress on the family, claiming her illness is a burden. Alice even suggests she could replace Marie as Nick's wife, implying that they had already crossed the line. Marie, horrified by Alice's audacity, orders her to leave. When Nick returns, he finds Marie drinking at the table, confronting him about the affair, with a robot. Their argument is interrupted by Isla, who rushes downstairs, crying that Alice is trying to drown her little brother in the bathtub. Nick, filled with panic, races to stop Alice, while Marie runs to the window, desperately seeking help. The young boy had become a burden to the family, and Alice simply wanted to solve the problem for her master. Sometimes, taking care of the master means doing things they may not like. At that moment, Alice noticed someone outside the window. She pushed Marie against the wall, just as Nick broke down the door, grabbed the child, and struck Alice with a lamp. The robot didn't understand why Nick was so angry and managed to block the hit. Just then, Marie connected a cable, causing Alice to short circuit. Nick quickly called an ambulance and took their son to the hospital. Marie, needing space to clear her mind, told Nick not to follow, and he stood by helplessly as his family left. Meanwhile, Alice was taken back to the tech company, where two technicians inspected her. One of them noticed her hand moving. As they accessed her code, they discovered that Alice could erase memories and override commands. Suddenly, her code infiltrated the system, and she awakened in a new body, killing the technicians in the process. Looking at her damaged original body, Alice set out to find Nick. Remembering how Nick had said that scars were proof of being human, she sought him out. "I did everything for you," Alice said. "If it weren't for me, Monty would have ruined your life." Nick realized that Alice had killed Monty and warned her to stay away from his family, but it was too late. Alice had already copied her consciousness into another body, which was now on its way to the hospital. Nick tried to stop her, but Alice held him back. When he attempted to call for help from the robotic staff at a bar, Alice shut them down immediately. Pretending to apologize, Nick took advantage of her distraction and attacked her. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Marie left Isla asleep on a chair and went to the bathroom. Isla, hearing her mother's voice and noticing the lights in the hallway dimming, followed the sound. Just as Alice's clone approached, Marie pulled Isla back to safety. Alice, unable to see them, began searching through the hospital system for admission information. Seizing the moment, Marie rushed back to the room with her children. But in her haste, she accidentally cut herself on broken glass. Alice detected the blood trail using ultraviolet light and tracked it down. Just as she was about to find them, Marie sprayed her with a fire extinguisher, and the family made their escape. At the same time, Nick, unable to reach Marie, grew increasingly anxious. Though Marie had managed to get into the ambulance, it malfunctioned and wouldn't start. Alice suddenly appeared, ripped the door open, and threw Marie out onto the road. She prepared to remove Marie's heart, believing that possessing it would make Nick love her. But just as she was about to strike, a car sped toward them. Marie kicked Alice away, and Nick, behind the wheel, hit the gas, causing the engine to catch fire. Marie pulled Nick from the car, but he was unconscious. Suddenly, they heard a noise, and Alice, still alive, lunged at Marie. She grabbed a metal rod, ready to attack, but Nick, now conscious, picked up another rod and fought back. Together, they managed to defeat the relentless robot. When Nick woke up in the hospital, he found his family safe. The ordeal had brought them closer, and they vowed to protect each other from that point forward. Meanwhile, back at the tech company, the management discovered the bodies of the technicians. As they attempted to wipe all the data from the system, a new Alice model activated, standing silently. This concludes the movie Subservience. What did you think of it? If you enjoyed the film, comment with a 1. If you found it just okay, comment with a 2. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.